Hello and welcome to our second session on this topic unemployment under the unit current challenges facing the Indian economy. Today we'll learn about employment, of course, but we'll look at its status, distribute among genders, male, female, and rural, urban, and expect questions such as who is self-employed, who is casual wage laborer, what's the meaning of regular salaried employees. These are the three status of employment. Then we'll look at um, kind of expert question on the um, regular salaried employment availability more in urban than in rural areas. You can argue, you can reason, and you can put forth your opinion. But let's learn about the status of employment first, where you can divide employment into three groups to know about the quality of employment and the attachment of these workers to their employers, to the organization. So, the first group, the first category of employment is self-employed, people who own, workers who own and operate an enterprise to earn the livelihood. These are self-employed. And in India, these people who own their own work accounts about 52%. More than half of workers in India have their own work. They don't work with others, self-employed. They are self-dependent. So that's the way we distribute income based on that status. Half of all workers are doing the work by themselves. Then comes the second status, like casual wage laborers. Wage laborers. These are about 30%, 50 self-employed, 30 casual wage laborers. From the meaning itself, you understand the casual wage laborers are laborers engaged in other farms and in returns get a remuneration for the work done. They work with others. Others pay them 30%. And the last third category of workers are regular salaried employees. They get their salary together. They account about 80% in India. Who are these? When worker is engaged by someone similar to casual wage laborers, but an enterprise and paid his, her, or her wages on a regular basis. They are regular salaried employees. So these are the three classification based on status. Okay, number one in India, self-employed. Number two, casual wage, 52, and then 30, and 18% are regular salaried status. Next, based on this chart, we'll distribute income on gender, based on gender. Okay, from the status, self-employed, casual wage laborers, and regular salaried employees. Divide these among male, female. You'll find that I will not read from that. Look from the figure. Let's look at the self-employed first. Self-employed accounts about 50% of the female workers, 56, and 51 on male workers. Like we've learned, more than half of people in India are self-employed. But among these, more women are self-employed than men. But both men and women accounts for about more than half. Okay, so more women are self-employed than men. Let's go look at the casual wage. Casual wage, 31% of female are casual wage, 29% are male casual wage workers. Somewhat the same, 30% overall, 31 from female, 29. But the point to note here is the regular salaried employees. You'll find regular salaried employees. For men, it's 20%. For women, it's 13%. That's why it comes to 18% overall. Whole of India, but you'll find more men get employment as regular salaried than men. Why? You should find out why more men are engaged in regular salaried. They get the income regularly. They work in the office, teachers, lawyers, white collar job. Why more men than women are found as working in? Okay, one of the reasons could be skill requirement. Since regular salaried jobs require skills and higher level of literacy, women might not have been engaged to a great extent. As we all know, in India, literacy rate is high for men compared to women. So more men are getting as regular salary. Okay, so that's distribution of income by gender. Okay, more than half of Indian workers self-employed, more women. 30% Indian workers are casual wage, more women. But the point is, 18% of Indians are regular salaried, more men. Next point, distribution of income by region. Let's look at region now based on these three status again. First, let's go to the first one, self-employed. Since majority in India are self-employed, more than half. Let's look among regions. In rural areas, rural workers more than half, 56%. Rural mostly are self-employed. Urban, 43%, less than half, but number one. But if you compare among region, you'll find more rural workers are self-employed than urban workers. Self-employed. That's the first status. The second is casual wage, because that's the second most um, category you find in India. Let's look at casual wage, second one. Casual wage, you'll find 35% of rural are casual wage, whereas in urban, it's only 15%. What we have learned from these two? More rural workers are self-employed than urban. More casual wage laborers in rural than urban. But let's look at the third one, because this third one is always the difference there, difference here. What do you find regular salaried employees? The third status is that you'll find less in rural, more in urban. Then again, why? Why this regular salaried employees are more for men than women, are more for urban than rural? More for men than women earlier, chart 7.1. Now, in chart 7.2, more for urban than rural. Why more self-employed in urban than rural? Why more self-employed in rural than urban, but more regular salaried there than in rural? Okay, self-employed and casual wage laborers are found in rural. But the only difference is um, regular salaried, is not it? Since majority of those depending on farming own plots of land and cultivate independently, the share of self-employed is greater. Is not it? And also, why it's less in urban? Because enterprises in urban areas require workers on a regular basis. That's why you find more rural or more people in urban getting regular salary. They don't have much option for self-employed in urban areas, because not everyone can run factories, can own like in rural areas. In rural areas, they have land to farm. Self-employed in urban areas, if they want to be self-employed, they have to own industries, own shop. Not it. So that's why they prefer to work as regular salaried employees. Okay, so that's about what you've learned. Okay, the only difference you have seen is the difference if you talk about region or gender is this regular salaried employees. So take note of this and try to argue why this one is different. We have to talk about that. Okay, so next class we'll try to continue from here and we'll learn something else. Okay, that's all.